Everyone, welcome to episode 1 of the AI content creation series. I'm Pamela, content marketing manager at Pixelz, and today we're going to be talking about AI for the PDP. And before we jump into that topic, just a couple notes. I already see people in the chat there saying hello or howdy. Howdy back to you. And there's also a Q&A tab. We're going to try and get to some of the questions today throughout the webinar, so feel free to drop your questions in the Q&A whenever you have them. Next, I'm going to put up a poll here, and we have a question for you. We're curious about how you are currently applying AI. There it is. So not at all. We're talking about the workplace, not at all. You're experimenting internally right now. You're actively testing out there on your website, or is it part of your regular workflow already? And while you're answering that question, I'm going to go ahead and welcome on my guest today, more like co-host at this point. Please welcome Carlos, Chief Product Officer at Pixelz.
Hi, Pamela. Happy to be here again with you.
Always you and I on these types of webinars, huh, Carlos? It's great to always be here with you. And let's take a look at these poll answers. Sorry, I have to scroll through on my screen here to see. It looks like, okay, answers still coming in. Right now, internal experimental phase. So experimenting just internally is the winner right now. Surprised? Makes sense?
No, it's not a surprise. That's where most of our customers are right now. It's new technology, new everything, and most of them are trying. So it's not a surprise, to be honest. It's true that some of them are already implementing it full scale, but most of them experimental.
Yeah, and a few more votes have come in here, and yeah, it looks like still heavily winning out is that internal experimental. So we both mentioned we've been here a lot before, Carlos, because about a year ago we talked about digital twins, and that was really focused on campaign work. Why are we now talking about AI for the PDP, and what use cases are we seeing for this?
Well, the technology improved significantly from last week even, but no, from last year. And we've seen more and more experimentation, and teams internally are also more ready to bring this new way of creating content at scale. And that's why we're talking about PDP. That's the use case that all of them are looking for, at least our customers.
Yeah. So enough talk already. We've only got 20 minutes today, less than. Should we jump in and show the people what we're working with?
Yeah. I will. You will see me changing my face because I'm going to direction because I'm going to share my screen. I have it here. I'm going to show you our internal application that we use to create some of this content. So let me share my screen. It should be there. Again, this is an internal application. I'm going to show you how we create content for PDP, for one SKU, in a very customized way. We're going to talk about bulk and at scale later on, but at least to show you in this webinar how we do this one by one. First, we of course receive the images of the hero product. I took some from online, and this can come from direct upload in our application, FTP API, the same way as always. Next thing is selecting the model. In this case, it could be virtual or a digital twin. I'm selecting a virtual model here right now. And then we're going to, of course, combine this top with other garments. So let me start with a pair of jeans, maybe this one, and these shoes. And Pamela, what else can we put into this look?
Yes, I was waiting for you to ask for my fashion advice. Can we add a jacket, please? Copenhagen, it's still like sunny, but jacket weather. So I'm thinking the black leather. I want to match the shoes. Yeah.
Okay. Something else that we can add to the look?
I want some jewelry, please. Can we add some earrings? Yeah,
Yeah.
no, big chunky. Yeah. Yeah.
Good. Next,
Mhm.
well, this is the set of poses that we predefined for this template. And then we can put some styling notes because the hero product is a top. Then let's keep the jacket open. So the model is wearing the jacket open. This is some, of course, this will go in at some point to the AI generation, but also for our internal teams to QA that the generations are correct. And then this is the order summary, you could say, and ready to submit.
And those styling notes, Carlos, just to be clear, is not the actual prompt itself. That's just styling notes.
Exactly. It will be used for the AI generation, of course, but also for our internal QA teams. And because this is going to take some time, I already submitted a similar order before, so we can see how this continues in our platform. Let me change to our customer-facing application. I'm here in the media library, and this is a similar outfit without the jacket. We can see with the jacket afterwards. And as you know, we have the PDP view, so you can see how this could look like in your PDP with different layouts. And these are the images that we generated. So from that front and back that we retouched briefly here, you have all these on-model images following the templates of the number of poses and the crops. And from these images, also we created a video.
And I think so. When you were walking through that process of creating that one image, well, it's not really one image, which is what I'm trying to get to the point to, is we selected poses and you chose all of them in that step. And so all of these images minus the original hero product images were selected and come from that order.
Yeah.
Correct.
How it works is that we set up things on the specification. I put some of them to manual, let's say, to custom, so I could show you the steps on the webinar. But what I set up as fixed, it was the lighting, the background, the number of images and poses on those images. I could double check, as you've seen on the steps, but it was already there. We could also put models and even stylings, the styling combination as automatic, let's say, depending on the customer demand, right? If you have a specific set of rules that we can follow, then we can put this into the system, into the template, and then if we'll combine the items that way, or we can have this kind of hybrid approach where maybe only the styling step is done by a human following your guidelines, and then they can select. By the way, the items that I put there, they were just random selections from online. But in the case of a real customer, then you have your wardrobe, the items that you use normally for combination, and then we can upload them there and use that for that step.
Yeah, and it's actually much like our specifications for retouching, right? You set a specification for whether you're doing shoes or on model, and the lighting, all of that stays the same across all the different orders. Yeah. And then can we look at that image to video real quick? Just so people, So all those images that we've generated basically just get funneled into this workflow, right? And can be turned into clips.
How it works is, of course, first we need to convert from packshot to on model to have those images. Then we're going to generate several clips with each one of these images, even multiple clips from one of each image. And then we're going to follow the post-production workflow that we already have, that we're already using for our customers when they submit us different clips to edit, color grade, and compose together. And then we created this video with certain specs. In this case, this kind of movement that you're seeing here, 13 seconds, and of course, color match to the images and same background and so on. But that's, again, hybrid post-production work, not generation, done with these clips that come from the on-model images.
Yeah, and I see we have a question right here about how long does one style or one outfit take? And just to reiterate, what you've been saying, Carlos, is it depends on, we can build out we can build out rules for styling, so it's automated, or there's like a range of flexibility, right? We can build out rules to automate certain styling based on the products you give us, or you can select more nuanced choices, right?
Exactly. Right now we have these two options. So the one that I did internally, that's an internal step where we have our people do it for you. Then we have the bulk with the automation or the rules that we can set up. And we're bringing this also customer facing by the end of June, where you can also do the same things that I did here, but you can do that yourself in our platform.
Yes. Loads of questions coming in. How does this, and that feeds into this question about how does this scale, which is the templates set up with your brand guidelines and predefined styling choices, everything, so that when your hero product images come in, we can slip them into those templates and specifications.
Yeah, exactly.
Great. Carlos, what model options are available?
We have our own virtual models that we created ourselves. We also collaborate with different model agencies, and we can create digital twins of any model. We have a customer that's creating even digital twins of their own employees because that's how they already shoot the e-commerce. And you can also give us your own virtual model images, and we can put that in the platform and use that for your products. So it's very flexible. That's the idea with all of this. We want to make it sure that it's scalable, flexible, and can accommodate almost any kind of creative direction.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of what we're highlighting here with me getting to pick the outfit selection is it can be scaled to a point where these are matching your standard PDP, and then you can customize because you want an elevated look, or you're trying to sell a jacket to me in Copenhagen where it's still a bit chilly in the springtime. So you can easily go in and customize outside of like your standard PDP template.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we can customize even one image, right? Maybe you want only one image, as you mentioned, Pamela, with the jacket, but the other ones, of course, because it's a top, then you want to just without any other accessory. So it's quite flexible in that sense as well.
And I think this hopefully answered the question about how much control do I have as a customer and how much do we handle on our side.
Yeah. And maybe we can take a look at the pictures that we just generated. Should we?
That'd be great.
Okay. Yeah. Again, I'm changing screen to the internal application. These are the images. We can see them here. Jacket, the earrings. Yeah. This, for example, they put the shirt in, so we still need to do some corrections. This is just out of the AI and without any retouch. But you can see also we can check the styling notes. I should have put also the top should be untucked, by the way. That was my mistake. That's why we got this image here, for example.
And what happens in this instance, so again, we're showing you sort of a one-off elevated moment for the PDP. But on our side, what happens when there's an issue like this, that it doesn't match the styling notes?
We can regenerate, we can edit this in post. For example, I see here something also that needs to be retouched. In this area here, for example, this will need a regeneration because we cannot retouch the bottom of the garment. And we will do this in this screen. This is the QC screen. We have the tools to do that using regular retouching. We can move that to retouch or using AI in painting or regeneration to edit this. So well, we have different tools. That's why we say that's hybrid. We need somebody to look at the images and correct them. But yeah, imagine that we see that there is no issues in these images. The QC people will approve those images, and we will see how at some point they will appear in the orders in here. So just give me a minute, and maybe we can see that live going to the customer-facing application as well.
Yeah, and I think that's, I'm going to highlight that again, Carlos, which is this QC part. You, the customer, are going to see this order like this. It's already been pre-QC'd by our team. It's already been regenerated. So you will actually won't on your side be seeing these AI mistakes.
Exactly. No. That's why we have the internal QC step, so we can give you the images and videos fully edited, ready to publish, and without you having to worry about that. In this
Exactly.
case, if I come back to the previous example, you can also see the original image. Also needs some color matching, background, moving the model to the middle. Yeah, regular post-production steps that we already do.
Yeah. So once on the customer side, once you see the order like this, it'll be almost like regular pixels, right? Just like you
Exactly.
did a photo shoot. Yeah. I'm going to take a look, Carlos, to see if we have any other questions come in.
Meanwhile, you can see here also all the steps that the image went through, same as always. We're leveraging the same thing, same level of transparency. You can see the steps. Yeah, business as usual in the post-production side.
This is an interesting question. How long does a generation like this usually take, and does it depend on the amount of items you choose?
No, it doesn't depend on the amount of items that we choose. This is the generation itself, not the entire workflow from you submit the images until we deliver them to you. So only the generation. It depends on the number of images. Of course, every image takes some time. We can run parallel threads at the same time, so it's not exactly the number of images, but that's more or less the limiting factor. But it takes like, how much it took now? 7 minutes, 6 minutes, something like that is what it took right now live. Around that, maybe then we need to regenerate some images, do QC, editing, and that's why we have our turnaround times to make sure that we have enough time to do this. And because we're not only processing one image, right? We're processing thousands of them. But generation is quite fast. I mean, you can experiment that yourself with AI models out there, and you will see how fast it is, that step.
Yeah. With this, though, with Pixelz, what you're ending up with is the final image, not just the AI generation. You're ending up with either the video or the image that has been through post-production, so it's ready to go. Mm-hmm. And how many input does it matter? I think I know the answer to this one. How many images?
At the end, we need to. The AI needs to get as much information as possible. Meaning that you need to provide enough information. I'm talking information, but these images and even descriptions of the garment that are describing it entirely. If this top had something special on the sides that we couldn't see on the front and the back, then we're not going to be able to reproduce that, right? So we need to make sure that we have the right amount of images to describe the product. In this case, for this top, front and back enough. Maybe for a white t-shirt with regular neckline, only one image could be. But for a pair of shoes or a jacket that you need to see inside, outside, pocket, and so on, then you need more images.
Are we delivering these in any file type?
Any file type that the customer wants us to do. Also, as part of the post-production, we can transform the images into TIFF, PNG, PSD, JPEG, etc.
And then I've got another question related to input images. Is it better to send a clean photo worn better than flat pack shot?
That pack shot is the worst input. I think that there is also a question around fit. Because it's not providing much fit info. Again, I will come back to my previous answer, right? As much information as we can receive, the better the result. So if you provide a ghost mannequin image with mannequin inside, that's nice for the fit. If you provide a non-model image, maybe crop, That's also good to see the fit. Otherwise, with the flat, there's going to be some interpretation about it. This, of course, can be then with our QC and some notes and even product info, it can be corrected. So it's not a super limiting factor, but of course, it will be better if we had a ghost mannequin.
And that feeds into questions around fit, right? More information, the better representation of the fit and the styling and all of that, the flow.
Exactly. Yeah. For example, for accessories, especially bags, for example, or even earrings, we need to know what the size of the item, right? So having some item in the image that we can reference for sizing could be very relevant. For a customer, in the past, we use a tennis ball, for example, and next to the item on the same distance to the camera than the item, and that gave us this reference. So it can be worked in several ways.
Yeah. And I know that there are some more questions still coming in, but we have hit 21 minutes, so we're 1 minute over, and I don't want to keep anyone longer than we promised. Following this live webinar, you will get an email with plenty of resources and information, as well as bonus content around AI. Make sure you tune in for episode 2 next week, next Wednesday, same time, same place. Carlos and I will sadly not be there, but we will be watching with you in the chat. And lastly, if you're in New York and you want to talk about some of this stuff in person, we'll be in New York in June. The agenda just launched today. You can view that on our website or go check us out on LinkedIn. Thank you, everyone, for joining us, and we'll see you next week.